When we spend so much time glued to what we have to do and what we think we have to do and what we think we should do, there's very little time left for what we actually want to do and what's important to us. So let's take this video to slow down, assess what we want and need, and take back our time. Not all the tools I am adding to my toolbox here will be applicable to your toolbox, but I hope that something or a little bit of something helps. So the first tool I have is called the Weekend Reflection Routine. This routine has two parts. One is an assessment of the week before, and the second is what's coming in the week ahead. Both of these parts should be a little dabble do ya, especially thinking about the week before. Let's start quickly with the week ahead. So the week ahead, I want you to choose one thing you'd like to add to your week, one thing you like to subtract from your week, one barrier to something in your week or a worry you have about the week ahead, and then finally, what is the thing that you're going to want to be able to tell yourself next week when you take out this spread again. I like that idea of what am I going to tell myself in a week? What is my future self in a week going to want to hear? For example, I worked on this, or I exercised on this day. Like, my future self is going to be so excited about that. So then when it's, that the week leading up to that, you want to please your future self. You want to be able to tell your future self that. And so you know that you're doing these things for you. Anyway, then there is the assessment of the week before. And this you would generally do before the week ahead. So from the week before, I want you to reflect on that worry or barrier that you identified. Maybe that ended up being the barrier. Maybe you ended up worrying about that, or maybe you didn't. Maybe something else came up. If you were really worried about something that was going to take place that week, how did it go? Was it okay in the end? I think this is a way that we can collect data over time. I think a lot of the times things are going to end up okay or maybe slightly better than we thought, but we don't know that. We don't have evidence of that yet. So this is us gathering that. Now read the thing that you told yourself you'd want to read and see if that's true. Because if it's true, that's a pat on your back. If it's not, that's neutral. Next, write down an unexpected time suck, if there was one. And finally, write down a pleasant surprise. And that's all from the week before. Then you'll move on to the week ahead, which we just talked about, and that'll be your weekly reflection for slowing down on the time frame of a week. Now let's talk about daily check-ins. My way of a daily check-in is morning pages or journaling. Now, I do not partake in the trademark, essentially, morning pages necessarily, but really just a page or a couple of pages of just thoughts. I can write whatever I want. I have not been doing this. I've stopped doing this, but in the past I've done this very consistently. I'm going to start this again because I do feel like things are going by way too quickly for me, and I'm not checking in with myself at all. You don't have to do this exact method at all. This could be another type of check-in that you do. So some people do like their peak and valley, or their like bud and their thorn or something like that. So you do what works for you. I really see that this practice is a pause in the time. It feels like a pause in time in the world when you're sitting there with your paper, or you're literally just sitting there with a prompt in your head for your daily check-in. I will link a video about journaling as perfectionists in the description box below in case you're interested. So we talked about weekly reflections and daily check-ins, and now let's talk about in the moment, setting the stage. And we can set the stage slow. So to slow down your world and your day and keep things from being as overwhelmed, it's important to breathe and set the stage in your head before going into a conversation or a night or a weekend or a day, and really think about what you might want it to look like. I don't know what the science is, but I feel like if you do that and then you do your best to carry out whatever that adjective or stage you visualized is, it may be more likely to be so. Another thing you can do to set the stage slow in the moment is think about when people are setting deadlines with you or making plans with you, and start to push back in gentle ways, or not, about what this deadline should be or when they, have to see you. If you already have something going on Wednesday and you get another opportunity that's also taking place Wednesday, you might try to fit both of those things in. Stop doing that. You're trying to make everything work for you. Trying to make everything work for you is getting all scrunched and crunched. It's making your life all like scrunchy and crunchy and not slow. It's overwhelming. Next, I find that I have routines, rituals, and practices that are most important for me to live a good life and not hate everything. So my question to you is, what is your most grounding or most essential routine or practice that you do regularly? It's the thing that you do for you. And other people might not notice this thing, but it's really for you. And for me, it's my nighttime routine, very closely followed by my morning routine. So whatever your most important grounding practice or routine is, can be something that you just go ahead and wrap your daily check-in into. So if mine is my nighttime routine, and in my nighttime routine, I include wind down skincare, I can just wrap in my daily check-in there of whatever I want, however I want to check in with myself and be mindful. I like this too because if you are devoted to your routine and this is something that's really helpful to you, every time you do it, you'll also have this other part wrapped in. If you don't know if you have or what you identify as your most grounding practice or most important essential practice or routine each day, one thing that can help would be asking, when days feel weird, why do they feel so weird? And one of those for me is if I get in late to work, like a few hours later than my normal start time, and I start the day then, and I have a shorter day, it feels so weird. The whole day just feels thrown off and weird. And I try to avoid that because of that, but that's when I know that my morning routine, both at home and my early morning routine at work, is really important for me for setting up the day. The final tool I have is called the duck budget. And now duck, it's actually standing for a different word, but I'm trying to use my time wisely and not have to like bleep myself. If we want to spend more time slowing down, presumably we'll have less time doing other things. The duck budget is an idea by author Sarah Knight. She wrote the book Duck No and essentially says you don't have unlimited ducks to give in your life, in your day, in your week. And ducks don't grow on trees. You can't just replenish them once they're given. So we have to get serious about where they're going and what you're giving them to. Giving ducks costs us resources like time and energy. Your schedule is going to feel very fast and very overwhelming if you give out ducks left and right like they grow on trees and like you're a ducking billionaire. I think this tool of the duck budget can go hand in hand with your weekly reflection when you think about what is one thing you want to subtract from the week ahead. You can basically think about what is one thing I will not be giving my duck to. That is the end of this video. I hope you were able to slow down a little bit while watching this, slow down a little bit in the future, assess what you want and need, and then start taking back our time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will have some suggested watching in the description below if you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.